Good morning, my hearts. I absolutely love you all to pieces. Today's live, and I'm just going to get everything kind of up here. I'm just going to wait for just a second for everybody to kind of join. So we're just going to wait for a second. And I'm going to, of course, la 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 la. Da, 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 da. I realized, well, I'm just going to talk anyway while I'm waiting for individuals. I realized that I always started talking in these lives far too early, and I just continually talk, and then I have to repeat myself. So I'm going to wait just a second so we can get a couple more individuals in, and then we are going to start with the topics of today for this live. Hello, happy viewer who is there. I cannot see who you are, but hello and welcome. Anyway, I'll give it a minute. It's only 11:28, so... And I've got to find my video. I don't like waiting a few minutes, to be honest with you. So, you know what? I'm going to have to not be impatient. You know what? Bugger it. I'm going to start now anyway. Okay, so... Today's live topics are, of course, why do we incarnate with amnesia? And why are programs and entities so wealthy and well off and Source Fractals have to struggle to survive? And, of course, healing for children. Now, the first two questions, question 1 and 2, were submitted by Angie. Angie, oh, bloody... I know I can pronounce the last name, but I'm not going to try right now. But it was submitted by Angie, and of course, healing for children. Virgin has sent me a little bit of information about a niece that she needs healing on, so we're going to do some of that today. So, firstly, the first question that Angie submitted, and this was submitted to the group, and I will get up the full question. So, the question that was asked was, Nest Chambers, why do we incarnate with amnesia? I would think we would be able to make greater and faster progress if we were able to remember things like past lives, our purpose, our abilities, and who the hell to stay away from or who to gravitate towards. I had a dream a while back that I asked this question and someone, no idea who, was getting ready to tell me the answer to the question, but then I woke up. Wonderful question. Wonderful question, and I'm happy to give you an answer for today there, Angie. So, the reason why we incarnate with amnesia is because we are incredibly powerful individuals. In order for us to develop to the deepest part of our soul, we do need a certain amount of hardship. I know that sounds like, why? Why so much hardship? But the more powerful you are, the more hardship you need in order to develop and progress. So I want you to think of, you know, when you're playing a kid's game, or let's say you're like 7 years old and you're just starting out with cards. What do you play? You play Go Fish, right? Or if you don't know what that is, or you play Match or something. And it's very, very simple because it's not challenging, right? So, you know, you've got a 7-year-old who can do it. Now, think a 7-year-old is going to have the world of fun playing goldfish or a card matching game or a game of memory because it's like, yay, this is great, and it's very, very entertaining. However, as an adult, you can't play those games. They are not stimulating enough. You can literally see the pattern and the meaning in that game so quickly that you play it once and then you're like, oh, okay, I'm super bored now. And there's no development. I want you to think of every class that you've taken, okay? Think of when you're in high school, and me, I'm not someone for algebra or, physics or anything like that. I never really, I'm like, it doesn't really interest me. So if I were having to sit through an algebra class, and I'm not a math person, well, not in this lifetime anyway, I'm not a math person, so I would gain no development out of that. It would just feel like complete and utter stagnation for me because I'm not getting anything out of it. It's not stimulating enough for me. So as source fractals, we literally have to have our memory wiped because we are such high vibrational individuals, right? And if we were to incarnate with our full memories every single time, the game would literally just, we wouldn't do anything. We would become uninterested. We'd become bored. For example, if I incarnated with all of my memories, I would last no longer than 5 hours in this game. 5 hours before, I'd literally be born as a baby and just be like, this is pointless. I don't want to be here anymore, right? Because you know so much. So we do need to have our memories wiped in order for us to experience deeper parts of us. And it is how we search, again, through these hardships. It's how we develop, right? But we can't have any knowledge of it. Can't have any knowledge of it. Now, as you said, wouldn't we be able to make greater and faster progress if we were able to remember things like our past lives, our purpose, and our abilities? Well, yes. There's a lot of entities that do that, right? Their bodies are, well, I'm like moldy. They're not moldy. Their bodies decompose. So their consciousness is then transferred into another new baby or another new body, right? And this is where you have such advanced civilizations that are able to, have such awesome technology and so forth because they're able to do that. Now, yes, they progress. Yes, they have done a lot of things. But this game is not for them. This game is for us. And we made it this way so we could develop and that we could progress. But it's not that kind of progression. We didn't come into this game to progress with technology. We didn't come into this game to build skyscrapers and so forth. We came into this game to literally develop the feelings within our heart, to overcome hardship, right? To overcome it, and in different kind of ways. So, for example, if you've incarnated with an individual who has caused you nothing but pain and suffering over and over and over again, and every time your memory is wiped, you seem to be attracted to this individual, right? It is literally, this is the lesson for you. And that is a deep lesson to learn within your soul, right? And if you had remembered this individual who continually caused you pain, what you would have done is you would have avoided the lesson and you wouldn't have grown from it. You would have simply said, well, no, I'm not going to go with you because I know what you did in the past life. However, through that avoidance, you didn't grow. It's the same thing like, okay, I don't want to learn algebra, or I took an algebra lesson and I didn't enjoy it, right? I didn't like it. However, I need to learn algebra. It's just one of the things I need to know. So if I took a lesson and I'm like, I don't like it. And then I literally, in the next life, was just like, I remember that I didn't like that algebra lesson. I would simply avoid it. But then I wouldn't learn anything. I wouldn't have learned anything. Because I just used my avoidance for it. Right? So that's literally the reason why we have to wipe our memories, because it makes the game that much more challenging. Because this is not a game that is supposed to be easy. It is supposed to be a very sophisticated, difficult game to progress with, right? Because we are very, very sophisticated individuals, right? So we need a lot of hardship. Next question that Angie asked, and this was actually a question that was posed on one of my other lives that was about entities, source fractals, and programs. And I realized I missed the question as I was rewatching the live with my husband because he's like, oh, I want to know a little bit more about this. Because I normally don't rewatch my lives, of course, but he did. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I missed that question from Angie. So I wanted to answer it now. Now, in that live, Angie had said, if Trump is a program, Donald Trump, then why is he a millionaire? And how come programs have the knowledge and ability to be successful, but source fractals struggle every damn day to survive? So this is the answer to that. If you have a program who was born into this life to be a program. Again, everything has a predetermined purpose, right? If you were born in as a program, then that means whatever your purpose was, you will have. Trump was always supposed to be born as an idiot who has a lot of power and a lot of money. It was literally predetermined, right? That he would be this way. You also have a lot of programs who are, for example, individuals who are homeless, who are, you know, starving and really down, right? Because I'll tell you this, Source Fractals, when they come in to the game of life, yes, we struggle. But all Source Fractals will be taken care of one way or another, okay? We don't come in to live a life of superb poverty that you cannot get out of. So, for example, you know those commercials that you'd have, that the old commercials like UNICEF or the World Peace Organization or something would send you, where they would send you literally the images of starving children in Africa or in, you know, the southern Asiatic countries like the Philippines and so forth, or India or so forth, and you've got those kids that are just like, have no fat or anything, and their bellies are all expanded through gas, and you know they're walking around and they're severely malnourished and everything like that. They are programs, right? Because Source Fractals will be born into situations where they will at least have the basic necessities until they are at the age of 13. Not all the basic necessities, don't get me wrong, are wonderful, or anything like that, but you will not go through long periods where you are starving, where you're so malnourished or anything like that. You have other hardships, but you will always be taken care of to a certain extent up until the age of 13, that you can make your own decisions. So programs literally come in all different cycles. So whether you are literally, programs are born super rich, they're born in the middle class, they are born in the, you know, like literally poor or impoverished. They're born in absolutely everything. It is all dependent on their purpose and what has been predetermined as their programming, right? Just again, think of a game, think of World of Warcraft. You have all sorts of different programs. You have the really powerful programs that will come in. Or the entities or something, and I just want you to think like, oh, the program, go see the wizard who is, I don't know if they have wizards in World of Warcraft, I've never played, to be honest, I'm just assuming, but, you know, like, when you're playing the game and you get a clue, it'll be like, go see the wizard at the end of the woods or something, and then you'll take your little avatar and you'll go see the wizard. That is a program, but it is a powerful program, one that has been programmed into it to have more energy or more power to help you in your quest. Right? But then you're also going to have the old peddler, you know, or some other kind of program, right? Who is filling in, and that program is impoverished. So again, that is why you have that. Now, why do Source Fractals have to struggle every damn day to survive? Not all Source Fractals are struggling every damn day to survive. There's a lot of different... Source Fractals can play in any part of this game, okay? We can be born into wealth and riches, right? We can be born into families who are, you know, struggling, but although you'll get to eat, but you may be struggling, you know, into a poorer family. You can be literally born into just a regular everyday family or whatnot, or it depends, right? So it depends on what lesson you were here to learn. Now, money and finances, when you are born, and I'll just tell you that the majority of individuals, I find, especially when I'm doing a past life reading and we're looking into this individual's past, I have done readings where, and just for one individual, because usually I would have done like 3 past lives for one reading, so we can get the whole overall lesson through these 3 lives. And there would be like, okay, well, they were born like a few hundred years ago, and they were born in poverty, you know, or being a poor, you know, being born to farmers who have to live off the land and so forth like that. And, you know, the individuals at the time, they would struggle, but they would have a different kind of lesson to learn. Like, oh, I was poor. Like, what are you going to do to get out of it? Are you going to continue to live on the land and be happy and live with nature? Or are you going to fall victim to materialization and go to one of the cities and try to earn so much money in order to be happy? Now, in those lives, we always find that the lesson was never about gaining more material wealth. It was always about developing your soul, which is what this game is about. And then in the same reading, we would have the same individual in their next life decided to be like, you know what, screw it, I'm coming in rich this time. And you know what happened? The same thing, because the lesson wasn't learned. People would come into this life wealthy, and what they would find is that they got lost in it. They didn't learn anything. You know, they were always taken care of, but their happiness was never there. You know, because yes, we've got money. Yes, I have all the nice things in the world, but my husband kept me as basically as an in-house slave, if anything, you know, a baby maker or whatever. And I felt I had no love. I felt, you know, I just shot out children, and my life was just, I hated it. So then what they did is in the next life, they came in as another poor individual, or, you know, somebody who wasn't so wealthy, right? Because they're like, wealth and finances does not fix anything. It doesn't fix anything. It doesn't equate to your fulfillment. It does not equate to your happiness, right? It physically doesn't. And this is the pattern I see in so many lives, through so many people living their lives right now. And so many people living in their past lives, right? So yeah, Source Fractals, if you are here to learn a lesson and you're struggling right now, it means that you need to shift your focus. You need to shift your focus and stop fighting up against this stream of material wealth and material gain, because that is not what will equate to your happiness. What will equate to your happiness and fulfillment is when you stop looking and seeking for these things that are causing you nothing but pain and suffering, right? And start looking inside yourself. And again, I want to say this. Money and finances, when this is your be-all and end-all of your life, if you put your happiness within money, you will find that you will never achieve this. Because money, to earn money in this material world, you have to sacrifice so much of your energy. So much. Just think, if for some people to have $1,000 in a month, you know, how many hours did they have to do that? If we're looking at minimum wage, right? I'll go, I'm in Canada, but I don't know a lot of the minimum wages in a lot of countries, but I'll take the UK, for example. I believe, and if you are in the UK now, you can confirm for me. If you're in the UK, minimum wage is like £6 an hour or something like that, or £7 an hour, £6 or £7, I believe. When I was in the UK, it was like £5 an hour, right? But now it's £6 or £7, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm too lazy to go on Google to look it up either. So if you think, when I was there anyway, it was a struggle for individuals to earn over £1,000 per month, okay? You would have individuals going to work, working 40 hours a week to simply come home with £800 per month. And within that £800, they have to pay their rent, they have to pay their bills, they have to pay their council tax, TV license, car payments, this and stuff. And then they end up with nothing. Or they end up in super debt because they have to borrow money to, you know, take up the cost of living, right? To just survive. But you've already spent 40 hours in your entire week, the best hours that you have within your life to go experience. You've literally focused it into earning wealth. Now, of course, they say, oh, you've got to work harder. You go get an extra part-time job, work harder in the job that you have so you can move up the ladder and progress. but it's all an illusion. It's all an illusion. You know, you move up the ladder to progress. Yeah, you get a bigger paycheck, but guess what? You get more stress. Because now you've went from being, you know, a worker that gets £7 an hour. Oh, well, now you're a manager. And now you get £9 an hour, right? So great, you get a pay increase. But now you are going to have to throw out even more energy, because not only are you doing the job, you have to take the stress of the higher up, putting upon you to then filter your stress onto the people you are managing, right? And it weighs heavy. You've got to do things you don't want to do. So yeah, you've got a little bit more money, but you're sacrificing still more of your energy. And then let's say you move up from there. You're no longer a manager. You're like, oh, I'm regional manager. Now I manage all the other managers and I have a little bit more money. But guess what? You're now always on call. Now not only do you work 40 hours a week, you work 60 hours a week. You know what? And I'll give you an example. When I was in the UK, when I was working and not using my energy, I was lower on energy and I was high on finance. You know, I literally worked for a company and I was one of the highest paid individuals in that company. You know, I had the Mercedes. I had, like, they gave me a company car and it was a brand new Mercs. You know, I had money flowing through the bank. I had whatever I needed, right? But I worked 60 to 70 hours a week. I threw my life into that job. I threw my energy into that job. I threw the energy that I had, I put it in there, so my health deteriorated. Right? So I was gaining all this wealth. Yes, I can drive my nice Mercedes from my house to my office, or from my house to wherever I needed to go in the country for this job. But at the end of the day, I didn't have my health. I had to go to the doctor. I had to be on pills. I missed my kids' birthdays. I missed my anniversaries. You know, I missed so much of life because I was simply, I have to earn as much money as I can. I have to be as successful as I can. And I wasn't me. I wasn't me. I wanted to teach people. I wanted to train people. I wanted to bring people up. But I couldn't do that because I was so busy earning money. Which again did not equate to my happiness because I fell into a really hard depression. Right? Hard depression. I did not like going into work, although I was fantastic at it. Yeah, I was great. So many people would come into my office and, you know, because I would train people and they would say, oh my gosh, and they would say Vanessa, because Ness at the time, they'd be like, Vanessa, and I'd be like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And they would say, I want to be in your position. And I would blatantly look at them and I'd tell them, I'm like, you can have this position. I hope you take this position, because then it means I don't have to be here anymore. Because it doesn't equate to happiness. The more you work, the more you seek to gain this money, this wealth, the more you will lose yourself. Because you just simply give out far more energy than what you come back with. Right? And I don't want any of that for you. I don't want anybody to have to go through sacrificing your life for an imaginary piece of paper, for literally symbols that are in a computer. These symbols in this computer, you cannot eat them. They will not keep you warm. They are only useful if somebody believes they are useful. You know? You could be working, I could be working, we could all be working for the entirety of our lives. We could have loads of numbers in the bank. But what happens when the system crashes? What happens when the banks make shoddy investments and then all of a sudden those numbers, those symbols in the computer are no longer there? It means that you have just literally spent years of your energy and now it is gone. What did you get back for it? Not happiness, I'll tell you that much. And why is it that we equate happiness to these numbers when literally, and I'll give you an example. I spent some time with a wonderful woman. She has one of the biggest hearts. She constantly gives, but she works really, really hard. She runs her own business. She came from a place of poverty, of abuse, of poverty and everything. And she has spent her life saying, no, I will never go back to that abuse and that poverty. So she has worked tirelessly her entire life. She's currently in her 50s now. She's worked tirelessly her entire life. And yeah, she's built herself. She has this business. She has a beautiful husband. You know, she has a beautiful home. She drives a beautiful car. But you know what though? She's full of stress. She's full of anxiety. She is constantly in the hospital, constantly in the doctor's office, constantly worried that she's going to die. Because she's like, I can't do this anymore. And she's constantly looking for a way out. And it's so addictive to the point where she cannot understand that when we work so hard for this, isn't it not that we need to, when we have finally gotten all this wealth, and it's time for us to be happy, how come we are not? Because I'll tell you, she was going on vacation for 2 weeks. And for those 2 weeks, she has to close down her business because she didn't have any help for anybody to stay there with her business for 2 weeks while she goes away. And when she was speaking to me, she was full of anxiety because she's like, what am I going to do with the business? Maybe I should stay. Maybe I shouldn't go. And I had to ask her, and I'm like, look, you work tirelessly every single day. You take only 1 day off per week. You are tired. You are stressed. You are full of anxiety. Is not all of this work supposed to be so that you can go away and enjoy yourself for once? But no, it is the addiction to thinking that finance is the be-all and end-all of our happiness. Because when that finance goes away, because she was thinking of how much loss she would have, how much money she would lose out by closing up her store for 2 weeks. And I'm like, if this is all we are living for, is to make money, then what is life? What is life? And if making this money just is equal to stress, why do it? So this is why, of course, I'm desperately trying to shift people's focus from simply continually generating money to focusing on happiness. Find your purpose. When a source fractal finds their purpose, they don't struggle anymore. There's no more struggle. You don't struggle every damn day to survive, Angie, when you are following your purpose. Because when you follow your purpose, the energy that you give out equates to it coming back to you. Okay? Oh gosh, I'm sorry. Hi everybody, by the way. I've got some comments here, so I'm gonna listen to some comments. Susan, you say yes, and then you have people work under you, so you get their responsibility. Yes, my husband has this, right? Oh gosh. Again, I have been in management positions since I was young, because every position that I went into when I was working, they recognized that I have a different kind of skill, that I would speak differently, and that my perspective was different. So I always developed within my workplaces. I was always offered, I would start at the bottom, and I was very quickly, within months, always offered team leader positions, and then management positions, and then up and up and up, right? And I tell you, so I understand what it feels like to be at the bottom, and I understand what it feels like to be at the top. And I tell you, I don't want to manage anybody. I do not want to manage anybody. Because at the end of the day, unless you are the owner and you are literally at the very, very top, you will always be following an order. And when you are following that order, you are then responsible to have that order fulfilled, which means you then put immeasurable pressure on the people beneath you. And when you have been that person on the bottom, you understand the kind of pain you are causing the individual under you, right? And the thing is, you are stuck between a rock and a hard place because, you know, oh my gosh. So I'll tell you, I was working with people in sales, customer services, communications and so forth, and administration. I would help train everybody. I would train everybody. But when I went into a new department, because I was also HR training and development, so if a department was failing in any way, I would have to come in, retrain the department head, and also retrain all of the staff so that they can function efficiently. So I would basically take over this department for a while. And if my CEO would say, hey, Vanessa, at the time, hey, Vanessa, I see what you did with these guys. I think they can do better. I want you to squeeze out more targets from them. I want you to increase their target because I think they can do better. And I'm already like here going, do you want these people not to live? Do you want them to literally slave away within this position, sitting at this desk constantly over and over and over again? And I would always have to try to convince my CEO at that time that no, we need to have people who are happy in work, pushing for more money, for more targets, for more profit, only equated to the further depression of the people I had to manage. But again, that was my order. So what did I have to do? I had to put more pressure on the people beneath me, and my heart bled. It did. Because I knew I would have to go into that office for another day, look these individuals in the eye when I know that they are missing their families, when they are missing their partners, when they are missing out on experiences in life. And I'd have to say, hey, you're going to have to stay behind a little bit longer because we have more targets. How bloody depressing is that? For what? Paper. I earned so much money I didn't even have time to spend it. I didn't. I didn't go out. I didn't see people. I didn't have friends because I couldn't afford the time to have friends and see people. So great. Yeah, lots of money in the bank. Lots of money in the bank. But no time to spend it. No time to use it. And it's horrible. Jessica, you say coercion of financial dependence is just a tool. It's like entrapment by our government. Bloody spot on, Jessica. Bloody spot on. And I'm going to say that. Jessica, you say interesting, being stuck in a domestic violence circumstance is defined as an occurrence of captivity when financial dependence is a factor. Exactly. So I want you to think about this. And I want you to understand that how energy works in this. How does energy work in this? Okay. Energy is all in the ethereal. Why do we need energy in the first place? Well, we need it because it is our life force. The more energy we have, the longer we are physically able to survive. The longer we are able to experience. Okay? That's why I have loads of energy. Loads of energy in the ethereal now. So my life has been extended by hundreds of years because I have so much energy, right? My youth is being rejuvenated every single day. That's why every single day you see me in a live, you will see a very slow transition going forward. If you watch my very first videos when I very first came out to the world, I was at least 30 pounds heavier. You know, my skin wasn't looking as clear. But as I started to fulfill my purpose, I gained more energy in the background here. And the more energy I gained, my weight is now regulating. I'm losing weight. My skin is becoming healthy and clear. My insides are now rejuvenating and accelerating on a rapid pace. So the aging cycle is just reversing. I have a lot more energy, right? But I wouldn't get that if I was working for money. That's not the right kind of energy. Now, so that's why we need energy. On the basis of it, it is to extend our lives so that we can experience. Why do you think, the 1%? They have a lot of monetary energy, but they do not have a lot of physical energy. That's why you see so many of them having 6 heart transplants, liver transplants, doing this because their bodies are deteriorating. And they are running out of the physical energy in their body, so that they now have to spend their material energy to continually try to repair the damage of their body and the deterioration. Right? So anyway, that's why we literally have money. Have energy. Now, money was created as a form of enslavement and entrapment. Now I want you to think here. The 1%, these entities of fear and hate and suffering, the 1% have a lot of physical, monetary energy. How do they get that monetary energy? Right? Because they want that monetary energy so that they can convert it to energy that they can sustain themselves with. All right? Because they need a lot of energy to sustain the amount of hate and fear and nastiness that is within them, that is sucking energy out of them very, very quickly. Right? So they need a lot of monetary energy. Now, how do they get this monetary energy? Because there is no way, if you are earning 6 or 7 pounds an hour in the UK, for example, there is no way you would be able to work the amount of hours in a day, in a week, in a month, in a year, in many years, to be able to equate the kind of financial wealth that the 1% have. So, how do they get their money? How do they get their energy to sustain themselves? Well, they use you. They used me for a while. They don't use me anymore, because I will not give it to them in that way, because I do not participate in their little games of bullshit. So, they use you. Now, they establish this dependency on money, right? They establish the enslavement of you through the idea that you believe money is the be-all and end-all. That they've got you believing that if you only have money, life will be wonderful. All of your problems will be solved if only you have money. And people who don't have this, well, they believe it. They believe the spell and the manipulation that they are under. Right? So, now you go to work. And I want you to think, what do you do every day? What is your contribution to the system when you go to work? For example, if you work in let's say you work in a chocolate factory or biscuits, something like that, right? You go to work and you spend 40 hours of your working week, 40 hours of your energy, your time, your life force to make chocolates. Now, you don't actually want to eat these chocolates because you make them every day and you're absolutely bloody sick of them and you don't even like the smell of chocolate anymore. Not only that, but you see the chemical process that goes into making these and you're like, ew, that's gross. So you've just helped create a product that is going to be sold to your family, to your friends, to the people around you, right? So that they can give their energy that they've worked all day long to go purchase this chocolate bar that you've made. Right? Now, are the 1% eating all of this chocolate? No. It's only the rest of everybody else. So money, okay, so you chocolate, but now think of anything else. Think of anything else, right? Think of all of the things that you use on a regular basis that you pay for. You pay for housing, you pay for food from a grocery store that has rotten food in it, that isn't even healthy, mostly chemical food that keeps your energy low. You pay for internet services, you know, and media and, you know, electronics and TV and everything like that. You pay for, what else do we pay for? We pay for water, we pay for gas, electricity, all of these things. Now, you literally go bust your ass every single day to simply pay for the things that you need to survive. And the excess money, the excess energy that you have put your life's energy into and converted it into zeros and numbers in the bank and paper, you don't even have any extra of it. So you've literally just spent your life force to simply continue living. And who gets the excess? The 1%. They get the excess of your energy. You don't, but they do. So I want you to think of it this way as well. Let's say you have a cattle farmer, or you have literally a cattle farmer. They have 1,000 cows, right? Now a cattle farmer has to pay for their feed, has to pay for their shelter, has to pay for the process of slaughter or milking the cows until they're dead, taking away their babies and, slaughtering them and everything like that. They have to pay for the facilities, right? And I want you to think that society are now the 1,000 cows. You are one of those cows in this mad machine. Now, your farmer, the 1%, the guy at the top, would normally have had to pay for your housing, would have had to pay for your food, would have had to pay for the electricity to keep you alive until you are ready to be slaughtered, until you are ready to die. However, and that's what it used to be, because that's what's called slavery, right? It used to be like that, where you would have the rich, usually man or woman in any country, because slavery is around everywhere. I'm not even going to say like, oh, this is, white people are enslaving black people. No, there's slavery everywhere. You go to India and there's slaves. You go to the Philippines and there's slaves. You go to places in Europe, there's slaves. There's slaves everywhere, right? So this is not an ethnicity kind of issue. Slavery is very, very much so in existence. But anyway, from our common knowledge, I want you to think back. When we had slave masters, what did they do? They housed their slaves, they fed their slaves, and they made sure that their slaves were healthy. However, this costs money, doesn't it? It costs energy to house your slaves, feed your slaves, and put energy into your slaves. So instead, the slave masters said, well, how about we do this? How about we tell the slaves that they're free? We're going to tell them that they're free, and we're going to give them some rules that they can abide by, right? Laws. That if you don't, so to keep them in line. So as long as they follow these rules, we're fine. But now, instead of us providing the housing and the food and the water and the resources, we're going to pay them a little extra, but then they have to pay for their housing. They have to pay for their food. They have to pay for their resources that I'm going to provide them. How shitty does that sound? So, the way I explained it to Lip, or Lip and I were talking about this, and I was just like, you know what? It's like a dairy farmer, right? Having a cow that comes in, that literally roams the field all day, collecting all of the grass to produce their milk, their energy. But then the cow, they don't have to now herd the cows, because the cows literally, when they have milk, they're ready to come in. The cows come in, hook themselves up to their station, hook their udders up to the milking machine, and start producing milk. Now, the cows, they'll go, oh, you know what? I need to give you extra milk because I need to pay for the shelter that you're providing me. So the cows, on top of giving the milk that is required, the cows now are going to give a little extra milk to pay for the thingy. And the cows are like, oh, you know what? There's grain right there. There's corn feeds and stuff. So the cow's like, oh, you know what? I'm going to have to give you some extra milk now because you're providing me with some grain. Right? Oh, then the cow's like, oh, it's winter time. You know what? I need to give you extra milk in order to heat the place around me. And then when the cow is finished giving all of the milk that they were going to produce anyway, plus the extra, the cow has no more milk to feed their own calf. And then the cow has to go back out into the to graze to find more grass in order to come back and give the farmer extra milk, and on top of the milk that they already gave them. And then when you can no longer provide that milk, guess what the farmer does? The farmer says, oh, that's a shame. I guess we're going to eat you now. And then you go for slaughter. So, if your money and your energy is the milk of the cow, wouldn't it be more beneficial to the cow to stop giving the blasted farmer the milk? Wouldn't it be more beneficial for the cow to simply go out and graze in nature? Use that milk for their own sustenance. Use that milk to feed their own children. And simply wander off into the forest and find their own shelter. Wander off into the forest and find their own water and find their own resources, rather than producing excessive amounts of milk for the crappy structure the farmer is allowing you to express your milk in. So I hope that kind of helped in terms of the analogy. So Susan, you say they take control of others. Yep. Susan, I'm so lucky I can stay at home, but see the stress on Rick's face when he comes home. Oh, right though? Samantha, you say free-range people. Yeah, exactly. That is exactly what it is. I was a top-earning free-range cow. I went and I produced a lot of milk, which my employer took all of it. Took all of it. And all I did was I continually went back out to graze and come back and give away all my milk. Until I woke up and I said, screw you. I'm not giving you any more of my milk. I'm keeping my milk for myself. I'm not following your stupid petty rules. Because you don't own me. You don't govern me. Right? So this is why we need to stop. Stop. You are a source fractal. You will not struggle when you realize that you can go off and you can live in abundance, free of this money that we believe we are bound by, right? We will live free of struggle when we find our purpose and follow it. As soon as I woke up to who I was and started following my purpose, my energy increased. I don't need very much food anymore. My body literally does not need as much food because I have so much energy. Okay? So much energy. My body doesn't need a lot of things anymore because I'm now doing for myself. I have never lived in as much fulfillment, happiness, and joy as I do now without money. Right? Without it. You may look at me and you may think, wow, she must be rolling in dough, rolling in money because my fee is so high. Not at all. I really don't have very much money at all. We are not wealthy people in this household. We are rich in energy. And we understand that when we need, we ask, we request, and it comes to us, what we need. We use what we need, and then we give any abundance away. Okay? So, I give to you freely because it comes back to me in energy. That's what it is. So, that's the kind of energy that I need, that I want. I would much prefer to have energy in the ethereal so that my children's bodies are healthy, that my husband's body is healthy, that we live without illness so we don't have medical bills, you know. We live off of clean food so our food bills are not very high, you know, because we're not buying a lot of chemical stuff. We buy whole foods, we buy plants, You know, we grow our own plants. We grow our own stuff. So because we do this, we have abundance of it. We don't go hungry, right? Our house is warm. We have a nice house. There's not a lot of stuff in it, but that's fine. Because preferably it's just a roof over our head. I'd much rather go outside in nature and enjoy an experience. So, Samantha, what purpose do people have on benefits? As I am, but I still feel a slave. Yeah, this is the thing. If you are on benefits and you still feel like you are a slave, I'm like, okay, then stop. I'm not saying stop gaining your benefits, but I'm saying that stop participating in this life of servitude. If I were on benefits right now, what I would do is, if I had some time, I would start focusing on myself. I wouldn't focus on anything that is in this system of slavery, which I stopped. I no longer focused my attention on earning money, and I started focusing my attention on earning energy, right? And to earn energy, I had to take care of my body. I had to make the transition to care for my body, to care for the people around me, to make sure that our minds are well, so our hearts could be well. Because when we find happiness and when we are high in ethereal energy, the universe literally sends it right back. It's like a massive magnet. So if I am high energy and my energy is nothing but love, then that is what I attract in very large amounts. I attract love back, happiness back, right? So that is why every day I live my life in extreme amounts of love and happiness, fulfillment, because I'm following my purpose. And I didn't understand what my purpose was truly until I gained energy and could understand that I had a calling to use this energy to help other individuals, to wake up other individuals. So Samantha, if you have extra time, don't look outside, right? Don't look outside and think, oh, I need to find another job. I need to do this, or feel guilt or stress that you are not finding another job as a slave somewhere else. You know, don't feel guilt over this. Use this time wisely. Use this time wisely to better yourself, better your understanding of who you are, better your understanding of your energy, better understanding of how much milk you got in those udders, you know, and see how truly wealthy you are when your energy is increased. It's beautiful, I tell you this. You know how wonderful it is to be able to simply go, I need whatever I need in life. All I have to do is speak it. All I have to do is manipulate my energy in order to gain that back. And it comes to me. I make an order, and all I have to do is sit back and wait. And during the times that I'm sitting back and waiting, I'm helping you guys. I'm helping anybody who wants to hear my words, who wants to get out of this slavery and discover their power. And I sit back and wait. And then when the time comes, I get what my order comes in, and I get what I needed. And all I did was literally sit in my living room and speak to you. And I enjoy doing it too. It makes me happy. If I don't teach or speak to you for a few days, I get very antsy. I've got a lot of built up energy, and I swear, anybody that talks to me, I'm like, hey, can I teach you something? You know, like that creepy guy that's like, hey, you want to watch? I'm like, hey, you want some knowledge? You want to know some secrets of the universe? Like, ask me anything. Because I have all this pent-up energy that I need to return back to you, right? So I make my request, and that's what I want everybody to do. I want everybody to do and experience it. But in the meantime, while you're learning to do it and experience it, I'm going to help you out too, right? And that's going to be fun because I'm an energy flow individual, right? So meaning I assist the flow of energy within others. So that is why when I say, hey, if you need something, use my name, call upon me. Just say, hey, Kulipup. Just out loud in your living room. Like, you could not have anybody around you. You don't have to physically message me or try to contact me at all. All you need to do is simply sit and just feel, and sit with yourself. You can meditate, you can be in your kitchen, you could be in your car, you could be anywhere, and you could just be like, Kulipup, please lend me your energy. I really, really, really want to gain understanding so I can change this, or I want to get out of my situation. I want to live more happily, right? Make your request. Some would call it a prayer. Some would call it a mantra. Some would call anything you want to call it. Make a wish if you want. You can call it a wish. It doesn't matter. But if you say, Kulipup, can I use your energy to make this wish? I will be right there, and I will be like, sure. I'll take your order, and all you got to do is literally live in love and live in light whilst I'm getting your order doing. Literally. And I seriously mean it. There's so many prayers and wishes that I hear and that I feel and that I totally grant. And it's lovely because it's been spoken and I'm wielding my energy for you, and it's nice because I don't tell a lot of people, but when I hear them, when I see the comments like, oh, this just came in, and I'm like, oh, wonderful. I'm glad that happened as fast as I wanted it to, you know, and so forth, because I wield my energy on your behalf as well. And because I do that, again, the universe returns it right back to me. Any energy I use to help you get what you want comes right back to me. That is equal energy exchange, right? That's what I want everybody to do. But anyway, I'm going to be doing a live on that. I'm going to be doing a live training session for sentient individuals and other energy flow individuals so that they can understand how to do that as well. Right? So that's going to be very, very interesting. So those were the questions posed by Angie, of course. And I hope I was able to offer some in-depth solutions or examples as to, or just a new perspective, if anything. Now, the next question that we had was from the lovely Virgin. And I'm going to get her bits up because she was asking me about her niece who is not well. So what I'm going to do is we're going to just have a quick look at that. Okay, so let me give you guys the rundown here. So Virgin says, I have a niece who's very swollen. Doctors don't know what's wrong. They say it's her kidney. They have her on chemo and medication, but they still don't know what's causing the swelling. Please, can you help me? Yes, I'm going to help you right now on this one, Virgin. By the way, I would like to mention, chemotherapy and the medications for it are poisonous. And this is the actions of doctors. They don't know what's causing the swelling. So what they're doing is they are now experimenting on this little girl, filling her with poison, filling her with horrific medications, and yet they still don't know what the cause is. These are the people we bring our children to, that we bring ourselves to, that we trust, who are willing to literally fill our bodies with what they know is complete poison. Fill our children with this, and they don't even know what the hell's happening. Experiments. I can't stand it. This is why it's not healing. This is why it's disease management, because they are experimenting on you. I'm like, nah, let's heal you. Oh, Susan, I am happy that you found that this information was useful. Excellent. So, let's look at Virgin here. Let's look at your niece. So what I'm going to do, if you would like to connect with me on this one, you are more than welcome to do so. I will take my glasses off so the connection is a little bit stronger for you. So all I want you to do in this moment, because I'm not ensuring that the child is still, so it's going to be a little bit more different. So again, connect to me now, look into my eyes, you know, and just say, Kulipup, I'd like to connect with you for this this distance healing session. Okay, so just connect to me right now. That's absolutely fine. So I'm going to basically, oh, and by the way, if you're connecting to me right now and you are already feeling ill, You may not want to connect to me because, again, if we are going through this, you may start to feel a little bit too much pain, and I don't want you to go through that. You can just listen. However, if you feel like you are well enough and you're like, yeah, no, I can do this, then please just connect to me. And as soon as you say the words, my energy will be with you, and I will place my hand on your shoulder so that you can have a stronger connection and connect with me to feel what's going through. Okay, so let's have a look here. So this is Virgin's niece. So I'm going to connect through to Virgin, and then through Virgin, I'm going to connect to her niece. Okay? I know, this is all the train of connection, because we are all one, so I'm just following that path. By the way, this is what you can do with an ethereal connection. Okay? When you have an ethereal connection, and you can, this is why I say, it doesn't matter who you are, where you are. If you've made a connection, I can find you, because I will literally trace all the paths to find your connection. Unless you are either more powerful than me, or you have a lot of energy to sever all of your connections. But I promise you that that's pretty difficult to hide from me. Sorry, no, I'm joking. I'm not trying to cause any fear or anything. If I find your connection, all it means is that you're just getting love from me. That's it. Love and healing. So it's not really that bad. Okay. So let's have a look here. So we've got Virgin. Let's find your niece. We have her. Okay. So we've got Virgin, and we have her niece. We have her niece through her. And the thing is, I'm focusing my attention right now on her niece that needs this healing specifically, because that is what my focus is on. Okay, so we have her. So now, oh yes, thank you, Susan. Take all your medals off. Take all your jewelry and take all your medals off and everything. Thank you so much, Susan, for reminding myself to remind you guys that if you are connecting, definitely take everything off. Even if it is chakra bracelets, stones, pendants, anything like that. We just want it all off. We want you to be as fresh as you can be, so your vibrational frequency is not interfered with. Okay, so we've got swelling. Let's see here. Okay, my energy is now becoming her energy. So and the first thing I'm feeling is burning in her chest. Now I'm going to use my sentience, and I'm going to focus I'm going to use my sentience, and I want to focus on where the pain is, where I'm feeling it, and what the problems are. Okay. Back of the legs. Primarily around the right knee and thighs. Let's go back up. Her heart. There is a implant. What is this implant from? Is it a physical implant? It is a ethereal implant. This is causing her turmoil, poor little thing. It was placed there by an entity of hate and fear. How are you guys feeling? I hope you're all okay. Her chest and her lungs. Stomach, and Susan, you say, I've got a pain right side stomach in the waist. Her stomach and waist are swollen with virus and bacteria. She is a terminal. She is a source fractal. No, she is an entity source fractal and is okay. DNA is breaking down the virus. It is illness through infection. Okay, so thank you very much, Susan. What I was feeling there is she has a virus. The swelling is being caused by a viral infection and also bacteria. Okay, Virgin, your niece is an entity. She is not a source fractal. She is an entity. Her vibrational frequency is low. Yes, she has a very low vibrational frequency as an entity. Her implant is also, no, not her implant, her implants. No, sorry, not implants. Her programming as an entity is keeping her in a lower vibration. The virus can be cured. First 4 days, no, first 4 hours. Okay, so Virgin, this is what I've got here for you. It is again a viral and bacterial infection that is going through her entire body. Okay, this is what is causing the swelling. The chemotherapy and medications are causing more harm. They are keeping her body in a state of illness and dis-ease, which is siphoning more energy from her and not allowing her body to simply have enough energy to tackle this bacterial and viral infection. I am going to take away the bacteria and I'm going to take away the infection. Okay? However, she is going to be in some pain for approximately 4 to 5 hours. Nope, or days. No, 4 to 5. 45 hours. Okay. She is going to be in a little bit of pain for about 4 to 5 hours. Okay? So I'm going to message this to you as well, just in case you did not get this live, Virgin, so you can understand that if she starts complaining, she will feel a lot of aches and pains, okay? Lots of aches and pains. And I want you to think of the kinds of aches and pains that you have when you are sore, very, very sore from healing. So I want you to think of when you... if you've come out of surgery and you know how your body is just in ache and pain and you're just like, what is happening? Because your limbs are just like, you can't move. It's going to be really uncomfortable for her for the next 4 to 5 hours. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be pumping my light energy directly into her. Okay? And we're going to start the healing process, but literally what my energy is going to do, it's going to burn off this virus and the infection. Okay? It's going to burn it off. Your niece at this time is going to need to recuperate in an incredibly calm, stable, and loving environment. Okay? So, very, very important. The reason why I say she needs to recuperate in this environment is because she is an entity. She is not a source fractal. So her energy isn't automatically renewed by love and light, or it's not automatically regenerated. She needs energy that will be constantly given to her. If she is being fed or in an environment that is full of fear, pain, suffering. So for example, if your brother or sister, who is the mother or father of the child, is constantly stressed, producing anxiety, worry, arguing, negativity, that energy is going to be absorbed right into her. Okay? Negative energy takes a hell of a lot more from an individual, especially from a child who is sick. So if she is around this, she will absorb it, and her recovery is going to be difficult. Okay? And the way I always say it is, if you're trying to get well, you know, if you have the flu, you don't go into work, because if you do, you are prolonging your illness, right? If you are even getting rid of it at all. So Virgin, the healing is going to take place. She's going to be in some pain. Your brother or sister or whoever is caring for her cannot be in high amounts of stress, okay? They need to literally shower this kid with nothing but love and nothing but, I love you, babes, let me get you well and healthy, putting the right foods into her body during this time. For pain relief, I'm going to suggest that you use some ibuprofen, or like, you know, kids ibuprofen, or Tylenol or something like that. It doesn't have to be anything super strong. She is going to feel something, but anything that you can do to help just ease the pain, because it is going to be achy and painy for 4 to 5 hours. It's not going to be nice to look at, or not going to be nice to watch. However, just know that she is going to be well. Because not only that, but I'm going to have to counter the frickin' effects of chemo. Hi, Virgin. Oh, you are with us. Wonderful, Virgin. I have just done the assessment on your niece, and I have just kind of went through the light and the healing that I'm going to be doing and what's going to be happening. So, Virgin, my sweetheart, I'm going to message this to you, but I want you to re-watch this, okay? Re-watch this. You can fast forward through the first 2 questions if you want to, until we get to the part where I'm doing healing on your niece. But yeah, she's going to go through a little bit of something here. Her overall recovery time is going to be, especially if you're following the correct aftercare instructions, she is going to be well within approximately 7 days. Okay? 7 days is how long it's going to take for her to be well. After the initial 4 to 5 hours of pain, it will start to subside. She will still have a bit of swelling. No. The swelling is going, you're going to see the swelling go down, and you're going to see her body start to go back to normal. But she still needs a lot of rest and a lot of recuperation. So for a full 7 days. Now, once that 7 days is complete, because again, I want you to look at it as aftercare, right? 7 days of intense rest and rejuvenation, being surrounded by positivity, love, and all of these good things. After the 7 days, you are going to slowly reintroduce more activity within her. So, you know, having her go out and take a couple walks, or do light kind of kids things, you know, light play, light things like that, and gradually, day by day, build that up again. But for the next 7 days, she needs to rest. No, like, literally keep her in a state of love, of happiness, fresh air, wholesome foods. She does not need to be super... She needs to be in bed. Yeah, she needs to be in bed, okay, for the next 7 days. She needs to be primarily in bed and in just a state of calm, so that her body can again absorb the excess energy that is being done for the healing, and still not overexert herself. Okay, so this is going to be very, very, very crucial. Now, it's happening as we speak because I can feel all of my energy going up the back of my head and starting to pool in my eye, and it is literally happening as we speak, okay? So please bear with me on that one. I know it's hard because I know as you are seeing her in her recovery, it's going to be very, very tempting to take her back to the hospital or keep her in the hospital and let them fill her up with a lot of drugs, and they don't even know what the frick they're doing, right? The virus that she has, the illness that she has not been tested for. They don't know what the virus is or the bacteria is because they don't have the instruments to be able to check it, okay? Nor do they have the funds. They're not willing. They're not willing to spend the funds in order to check this specific strain of bacteria or to find out the true cause and problem. It can be done, but that's not what their goal is. Their goal is not to save this child. Their goal is to, well, they do want to save the child, don't get me wrong, but this is why I hate money. But money is a factor in this. If Virgin, if you were a millionaire, you would have had this sorted, right? Because you would have been able to pay for the necessary screening and the higher screening required to find this bacteria and to find this specific virus. But because you're not paying out millions of dollars to do this, they are not checking that because that is an expensive tier, right? This is why I hate the health system. We should be here to heal everybody, regardless of what their financial background is. It drives me nuts. So, that is done. Who is, the aftercare is being taken care of by oh, wonderful. Okay. The aftercare, so Virgin, I'm putting my energy into that as well for the initial healing. The aftercare as well for the next 7 days, you are going to be looked after, or your niece is going to be looked after as well by Lucaust and Lupe and a beautiful spirit called Orstlon as well. Again, Lucaust is Master Healer, Lupe is Master Empath, and Orstlon is getting his mastery in empathy as well. So they're going to help soothe her heart. So if the environment is not full of complete love, then they are going to start helping her out with that too. They're going to help her heart feel warm and fuzzy as much as possible, whilst Lucaust is going to literally be tracking and ensuring that any pushback from the virus is, or the bacteria is solved on more of an immediate basis. Okay, so we've got that, and then of course, if Lucaust or Lupe or Orstlon or anybody finds that they need further energy or my assistance, they will simply contact me directly, and I will automatically give that further assistance as well. But to be honest with you, you're pretty much fine. So just know that she is going to be well as long as everything is okay. I will say though that this virus and bacteria is technically a terminal bacteria. Okay? It is technically a terminal bacteria. So with this going through, this is why following the aftercare instructions given is so critical and important right now. Alright? We cannot continue to heal appropriately if we continue to proceed the behaviors that got us sick in the first place. Virgin, you say, can I show her this video? Yes, please, share it. Share it with her. Share it with the mom, you know, share it with because at the end of the day, the knowledge needs to be there. Now, the more she understands this, the faster we can do it. So the more she takes this aftercare instruction seriously, literally the better outcome that is going to happen. However, if she does not take this aftercare instruction seriously and goes back into old patterns that will cause illness, then literally you will be countering my energy that I have been put in to provide with this healing. Okay? And if the energy is countered, then that means you are giving the virus and the bacteria openings to come back and to reform and reestablish. Okay? So really, really important. So thank you ever so much on that there, Virgin. So what is it that I want you to feed the child and to be giving her? So she needs dark leafy. Yep. She needs dark leafy greens. Okay? And this is in terms of her food that she requires. So dark leafy greens, she needs about 3/4 cup per day. She needs 4 cups? No, 4 liters. Yes, 4 liters of water per day. How big is she? Sorry, per day. That's quite a lot. Sorry, 1 second. 4 cups of water. Oh, sorry. Sorry, not 4 liters, 4 cups. 4 cups or 2 liters. Sorry, or that's not 2 liters, that's 1 liter. Math, it was never my strong point in this lifetime. And you would think, as Copernicus, I was literally a mathematician. After that life, I'm like, nope, I don't want to do math anymore. So she needs 4 cups of, or 1 liter of water every day, okay? Her body really needs to stay hydrated right now, because the hydration is literally the lubrication her body needs to have things function properly. She needs 12 hours of rest and rejuvenation per day. Yep. So 12 hours of rest and rejuvenation per day for the next 7 days. And then after the 7 days, we can start to introduce again more activity going through as well. What else do we need here in terms of food? Fruits. Sorry, I'm just getting the diet here. Week? Yes, okay. So she needs 2 ounces of broccoli. 4. But the potatoes, they are on every week. Okay, on a week, okay. Now, all of these things that I'm going to mention, they seem very, very basic. I understand this. However, the foods that I'm mentioning right now are packed with literally the nutrients her body needs right now for the healing. So it may seem very, very basic. However, get this in her system and you will find a massive increase. So 2 ounces of broccoli. We want that broccoli raw. Can it be cooked? If you are cooking the broccoli, I do not want you to overcook it, okay? So 2 ounces of broccoli, I don't want to say steamed. So for example, when you are cooking the broccoli, all right, you want it to be slightly crisp. You don't want it to be too soggy. not too hard either. But what I recommend is literally you boil some water or some soup or some broth or something like that, and you throw the broccoli in. Stop the water on the heat, like don't put the heat on there, and let the broccoli literally sit in the water for a minute there. Okay. It will take approximately 4 minutes for the broccoli to come at the proper texture and temperature. 4 minutes. And again, I'm being precise because you still need the living enzymes that are within the broccoli along with the nutritional value of the broccoli in itself. Okay, because we want everything to be, we want the living enzymes that will help her, give her the energy as well. I want you to give her 4 baked potatoes in the week, okay? 4 baked potatoes. They can be russet or parboiled as well. Like you don't have to bake them. You can have them parboiled too. That's okay. But either way, 4 potatoes. All right. The starch, the nutrients, the dense mineral that the potato literally contains from being underground is really mineral healthy. And the starches are slow release of sugars and so forth as well. So that's what she needs in her diet there. Again, the dark leafy greens. A 1/3 cup of these per day raw is what we want too. Yes, Virgin, I will totally send you a list of this too. Dark leafy greens, what's going to be best is spinach, chard. Oh, chard. Chard is going to be good. Swiss white or red? Red chard. No? White. Yes, white chard, okay? So that's going to be good. Today, white chard. Okay. The white chard is, again, it is a very, very, very mineral dense leaf. Okay, so it's going to provide a really good extra boost, especially if she can get a 1/3 cup in per day. All right. It may be really annoying to get her to eat it, but it still needs to be done. So get it in her system however you can. So if you have to kind of mush it up into like little pieces or something just for her to kind of get in there, that's okay. Doesn't matter. However you can do it, get it into her system, preferably raw, as much as we can. So again, we can have the enzymes and the benefits there. If you want to have it warm, you can cook it the same way you cook the broccoli. However, it may become a little slimy, so I don't know if I prefer it raw versus having it slimy. Okay, so what else? What kind of other vegetables? Carrots as well. No, not carrots. No. For full size? No. Okay, she needs four baby carrots per day. Okay, raw as well. All right. What else do we need? Five to 6 ounces of healthy grains. Okay, so the kind of healthy grains that we could use are cereals. Yep. So we can do cereals. Okay. So granola would be a good way to go, or like a grained flake. It's okay. You can go around, kiddo. Thank you. My daughter is home today. So you can again 5 to 6 ounces of healthy grains. So such as cereal, bran flakes. Although I know this is food that is not really that pleasurable for a lot of people, but it is very healthy. So cereal, oats, like porridge, for example. If she wants like a nice something, and you can add a pinch of sugar. Yep, a pinch of sugar as well. So you can use honey, or you can use natural sugars as much. Organic cane sugar is always, well, I guess it doesn't have to be organic cane sugar, but just whatever you like to sweeten it. Just use a little bit of sugar and some nice porridge would be good as well. It's easier to digest it. She can get it down there. But 5 to 6 ounces of this per day Rice. Yep. Or she can have rice, things like rice. White rice is absolutely fine too. White rice or brown is okay if she likes it. No, not brown. Oh yeah, brown is perfectly fine. Okay. White rice or brown is okay as well, but she may prefer the porridge. Now, one of the things you cannot give her, and Virgin, I tell you, do not do this. Because if we're doing this healing, if we're doing all of this kind of stuff, you gotta take it seriously. Do not give this child any meat. No meat whatsoever. Okay? I don't care if it's a hot dog. I don't care if it's a burger. I don't care if it's a little piece of chicken. I don't care if it is an egg. All right? That is a form of meat. You are not to give this child any meat whatsoever. It will counter the energy. The bacteria, they like to eat dead things, this bacteria. If you put meat into her system, you will be feeding the bacteria. Okay? You will give them literally what it is they need to sustain themselves and repopulate within her body. Do not give her the meat. The meat also has parasites. The parasites will then take away nutrients from that child's body and energy from that child's body. And you will find that this cycle will again continue. So no meat. Excellent. Good. No meat. Okay. Let's have a look here. What else do we need? After that, she can basically eat whatever she wants. You know, I mean, like, after these kinds of things that you've gotten into her system, she can eat what she wants at that point. Okay? She can eat anything healthy. You just want her to stay away from chemically filled foods. So if she wants some bread and butter, if she wants some, if she wants a cookie, let it be home baked. I just don't want you to give her anything that literally comes out of a package or that is laden with chemicals, because her body again needs to be as clean as we can get it, right? So whatever she wants to eat after she's eaten these things, totally cool. Just make sure that it is a homemade meal, okay? Something that is not going to interfere with her healing. Oh, yes, wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so I think that is all that I have for you then, Virgin. Oh my gosh. I'm going to look through some of these comments. I know I was just literally just talking a lot here. Okay. Wonderful. Let's go back here. I think I only missed one here. Okay. Jennifer, you say, wow, you're amazing, dear. Oh, thank you very much. I like what I do. I've got a lot of energy to do it. It's what I'm here for. And excellent. So, Virgin, we have all of that information. Wonderful. Okay. So, what is going to happen for the rest of the day? I am going to be doing some live readings, of course. They will be done on my profile, though, because they are more personal readings for individuals who have personally contacted me. I know I had to cut my live session off yesterday because I was having some internet issues where my internet was not supporting a live stream and I was only able to mess it, and I was like, oh, crap. Okay, but that is because I live in an area that if it rains, we're on a hill, things stop working. They didn't tell you that when you moved into the house, did they? Like, no, no, no. By the way, your internet won't work every time there's a storm. So anyway, so we are going to be doing some, again, more healing, more readings on my profile. So if you've not added me on your profile yet to follow my live readings there, please do that now. Just type in kulipup.source.truth in the search bar there, or you can just click on Ness. Well, that's probably easier. Just click on my profile and then add me that way, so you can kind of join in on those lives. But if you can't, don't worry. I share them anyway, right? So you're always going to get the information. Righto. And anything else, I am a little bit behind. I'm not going to lie. I do have some things I need to go through in terms of on the group itself. And just general questions and queries. I'm going to try to get through to everybody as much as I possibly can. Hi, RK Sweetheart. I really will try to get to as many people as I possibly can. However, there is a lot of readings and healings and so forth that do need to be done today and this week. So healing right now is my priority because there are a lot of people who are sick in the immediate sense right now that I know that I can't push them aside simply to do administration, right? Because it's just not a plausible use of my energy at the moment. So of course, if you have any further kind of interesting questions that you're just like, hey, I really want to know this one or anything like that, just remember to either post on my profile or post into the group, and I will, of course, see them and pull them out and do some further lives. If you find this information useful, as always, share it. Share it out to the world so we can understand how that healing can be done and that we can stop this whole slavery system to money and everything like that. That would be nice. So I thank you ever so much. I will be back very shortly, and we will go from there. Bye, sweethearts.